dropped on their heads as children. Here's what's coming up on the Nice Guys on Business.
I'm starting a appetite enhancer tonight, Marinol.
Marinol. That sounds awfully close to marijuana. Hold on a second. Are you taking medicinal marijuana, David Sandler?
This is going to be my first chance tonight.
What? You're fucking kidding me. Strick, I was the guy that was doing bong hits and smoking pot in college and beyond. This guy David has had like maybe one alcohol beverage in his entire life, and he is about to eat pot.
Now it's 3 a.m, and I'm trying to change your mind. Left you multiple missed calls, and to my message you reply, "Why do you only call me when you're listening to the Nice Guys on Business podcast?" Need an education on how to grow your business? The Nice Guys are here to help. Learn about great customer service, networking, and how just being nice can help you prosper. Now, here are your hosts, Doug Sandler and Strickland Bonner.
Welcome back. Apparently, we are into the show. It is Tuesday. My name is Strickland Bonner. On the other side of the microphone, Mr. Doug Sandler, and we have extra, super special guest, Mr. Detour Dave Sandler. How are you doing, Dave?
Great. How you guys doing today?
Good. I hear you got fired.
Okay. It's a great way to get started, but fine. It's okay. 31 years, no one cares.
Seriously, though, like on a serious note, when Doug mentioned this, and it was like, what, month and a half ago, right? He was telling me that that WBAL and 98 Rock were letting you go. I was like, what the fuck? All right. We do not do exposition often, all right? But in this particular case, we're going to make an exception.
Okay.
Detour Dave Sandler has been doing the traffic on WBAL, which is the local Baltimore News AM station, and 98 Rock for 31 years. Is that what it was?
31 years.
31
Crazy.
Fucking years. I was a kid growing up before I ever had any
talked
idea
about
who Doug Sandler was.
No ages. We weren't doing aging.
Okay,
well, I'm going to beep it out. It's okay. I'm just going to beep it out.
Let's just say this. Before he had hair on his ding dong. Let's just say that.
Well, apparently, if it was only 31 years, I guess it wasn't that long. I thought I was younger. I keep thinking I was like a kid when you started, but apparently not. Apparently, I was like a teenager, but all I remember is Detour Dave Sandler. I mean, really, you are a Baltimore icon, and
where
I
did you
couldn't
grow up?
believe it when I heard that they were basically not going to renew your contract.
Where did you grow up? What area are you from?
Oh, Baltimore. I mean, I grew up in Rogers Forge when I was a little kid.
Oh, okay.
And then Cockeysville, and then Belvedere Square.
Got it. Okay. So that doesn't mean
I've
anything to most of the
always
people
listened
listening.
to 98 Rock.
Got it. Okay. Well, yeah. So I'm done there. However,
and by the way, fuck them. Okay, but go ahead. Please continue.
Well, in the book, we don't ever do that because we never burn a bridge because you never know. And here's the interesting thing. This is really interesting. I just interviewed them yesterday. We went into the BAL and 98 Rock general manager's office and offered them our services again at probably 15 times the cost of what they were paying me. And they're probably going to take it.
Oh my God, are you kidding? Like, in other words, so Dave, you're going to have to give a little backstory because I'm assuming that since you've been let go from them, you're putting your own company together to do this on your own, to sell to multiple stations, right?
Yeah, so that's what we're doing. We're starting our own traffic service, and we're going to be basically serving the Baltimore metro area, just like we did on BAL and 98 Rock. We're now going to do it for multiple stations, multiple companies. And we're going to see how many stations we can actually pick up. And here's the great thing about what we're offering is that we're offering our services for free. No one has to pay a dime to us to get the service. What they're going to have to give us though is some space on their advertising docket, meaning we get advertising revenue by going out and selling sponsorships to our traffic reports on all the various stations. So they're giving us advertising space. No cash, just space.
And then you're going to find the advertisers. So basically when you come on and you say traffic sponsored by so-and-so, you're getting that revenue.
Exactly.
I love that plan. That sounds like a great plan. Dave, I got to ask you to do something for us, right? For those of you who don't remember, and it's probably most of you, because hold on, I'm going to look it up in, hold on. I got to look it up in OneNote now because I don't remember when the interview that we did with you was.
Oh, what episode?
Oh, no, it wasn't
really
the interview with Dave, was it?
Not the original.
What that? Oh, that he did. That he did a report.
Oh, here we go.
That was probably about what 6-8 weeks ago, I guess.
No, it was episode 293, so it was 140 episodes ago.
Last week.
So 140 episodes ago was the last time that I remember that Dave joined us, and when he joined us, he did basically a quick. He did the traffic rundown, but he made it up off the top of his head. And it was just fucking brilliant. And Dave, you got to do it again. It's been so long that I'm sure most people either don't remember it or our new listeners haven't heard it. Dave Sandler, again, icon in Baltimore traffic. And if we were to say, hey, Dave, can we get a traffic report right now? We would hear from Dave this.
Eastbound Route 50, heading out to the Bay Bridge, you will find some delays beginning back and around Route 50 at the Chevron River. There's about 7 miles of backed up traffic on a Friday afternoon. Everybody's heading to the beach, and there's a lot of backing there. 3 lanes of traffic get by, but no major difficulty once you finally cross over the Bay Bridge heading out to the eastern shore. A left turn on 404 shows easy flow of traffic into the Delaware line, and no problems as you get down to the lower end of the eastern shore on Route 50 through Easton, Cambridge, Salisbury, and Ocean City. If you use 95 in the northbound direction crossing the Tidings Bridge, you will find some delays in northeast Maryland. That's up in Cecil County. But again, by the time you reach the Delaware line, all lanes are open, and you're right at the posted speed. That's traffic. I'm Dave Sandler, WBAL Traffic.
Oh, fucking brilliant. And you know what I love about that so much? Not only do you do that off the top of your head, or you just made it up, right? We are recording this on a Friday night. Now, in the summertime.
We talked.
So for those of you who don't know, we live in Maryland, and on the weekends, everybody goes to fucking Ocean City, right? So what happens on Friday? The only way to get to Ocean City? The Bay Bridge. So off the top of his head, with nothing in front of him, not only does he just make up a traffic report, but he makes up a traffic report that is appropriate to Friday, which is exactly what happens every Friday night.
So here's the true question though, Dave. How often would you just make up the traffic without? Okay, so I know Dave is a totally straight-laced guy and never would do this, but I know that Was there ever a time where you were so busy doing other stuff, or some distraction came into the station, or it was 98 Rock, maybe some girl was coming in to strip or something like that, where you really didn't have time to check with Maryland State Traffic or any of the other traffic services, and you actually just went ahead and had to make up the report? That ever happened?
The thing it's interesting about it, I just did the report, and the report really rarely ever changes. I mean, pretty much if you know about what time it is on a certain afternoon or a certain morning, based on 31 years of experience, just about what the cars are looking like out on the road at that point. You don't need to see anything or hear anything, really. You just basically go with it.
So what you're saying is you make it up every single time, really.
Yeah, like I said.
Well, he could, but statistically, the chances are very good that he is going to actually be right on the money with it. So unless there is like something really going on that's wrong,
it's
like a bad traffic accident or
trend.
something, the chances... Right. So I can remember I was working for our stepdad in the early 90s, Strick, and Dave, at that point, he was up in the airplane, and he used to do what was your morning drive time that you actually were up in the plane?
We'd start at 5 and we'd finish at 9.
So he would go to 5 to 9 a.m., and I was hitting the car with my stepdad probably about, I want to say maybe 6 o'clock in the morning. I'd pick him up at his house.
Yep.
Yes, 6:15. And this is before 9/11, so Dave was still up in his small Cessna. Was it a 172? Small
Four-seater.
Cessna?
Yep.
So a 4-seater. So he was up in the plane, and I would pick up my stepdad in the car that we were going to drive down to Calvert County, which was about an hour and a half away.
A wagon.
And he a wagon, right? And he used to follow us in the airplane all above us.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
All the way down to about probably about 30 miles, 40 miles from where we actually were going to end up, because that was still within his territory.
By the time Annapolis hit, I'd turn back around, get back to what I was doing.
And he'd basically tell you where to avoid the backup. So this was like 20 years before anybody invented Waze or like Google Maps,
right. Oh, yeah, totally.
Totally.
Yeah, it was we were with the human ways.
It was the most personal traffic service. We had an airplane escort, us and 300,000 other cars that were on there. But nobody knows that we're the spotter for the airplane that's up in the air. We had such a great time, and it was a little bit of brotherly love going on at that time. He would kind of tilt his wings to signal that he was getting it. Like as I would walk out of my apartment, I would wave to him up in the air. And how high were you flying?
We were about 1,400 feet.
So at 1,400 feet, you could see me wave, right? I mean, that's...
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Nice.
It was just one of those things. It just kind of felt right to do. So, I knew it was going to be a long ride. I also knew that he didn't love what he was doing. I think it was a little bit of almost comic relief to just kind of give him a little bit of a boost before he had a long, long day down in Crawford County. Long day.
Hey, so Dave, take us through the last couple of months of your life with what happened with BAL. I mean, just the process there. I know Strickland doesn't want you to get into all the fucking details. I want to get you into the details. But so how did it actually go down, and how did you feel?
Well, they called me. The interesting part about it was that I've had a few meetings over I guess we have a new general manager, station manager for about the last 2.5 years. And I probably had, 3 or 4 meetings with them. They're all good, positive meetings. We love Detour Dave. We love Detour Dave. We want more Detour Dave. And I said, great. How can we go about doing that? And we just, weren't able to work out any terms. So I kind of stuck with what I was doing, which was basically 3 o'clock in the afternoon till 7:15. I was on the air. So I was doing the afternoon drive, which was great. The money was good. The hours were great. Doing what I did is pretty much, as you heard, second nature. So that was not difficult at all. But they called this meeting at a different location, and I just didn't really know what to make of it. The meeting was going to be at a coffee shop in across Keys, which is probably about a mile down the road from the radio station. So
it's never good. Off-site security.
I was wondering whether maybe, because you were thinking, well, if they fired me, I couldn't set the building on fire or something like that. So I guess
did they ask you to clear your desk before then?
No, my key fob still worked. I was still able to get in the building, so I thought everything was okay. And basically, they just said, "Look, we have an agreement. Your agreement is due to end in 6 weeks, and at this point, we've just decided to go in a different direction." And I wasn't shocked. But I was.
So they were taking a detour. Actually, is what they were doing.
I guess they were. And I wasn't included.
Thanks, Strick.
Sorry, a little slow on the update on that one, but yes.
Yeah, thanks.
So we, so at that point, I just kind of just was really feeling them out as to, what the reason behind it was. Was it performance based? Was I making too much money? I wasn't really sure what the reason behind it was. And they weren't really showing their cards. They just said, we've just decided to kind of restructure the afternoon and go on from there. And I think I finally, at the end of that meeting, which was about 45 minutes, I guess, I finally got them to concede that it was definitely financially based. So then how did you, this next step with you coming up with your own traffic service, tell me about that process, because that's got to be because you have never, with the exception of having your mobile DJ business, but you've always had this full-time job. I mean, 31 years at a place, and so you've had that steady paycheck. So what's that feeling like when you first took that step into saying, hey, I'm just going to try to do this on my own? Well, let's go back a little bit. Yeah. First of all, the comfort of being, employed by the same people for 30 years is tremendous. It's very secure, and you don't really necessarily think about what's next. You just think, I'm doing fine here. Everybody seems to be enjoying what I do, and I've been doing it for so long. You just don't think it's really going to ever end.
Right.
At least you don't think it's ever going to end without you ending it, as opposed to them deciding to make that decision. And and you're not giving yourself enough credit here, but that we would have a conversation maybe on a bi-yearly basis about let's just start your own traffic service. You thought there was a need in the community, in the Baltimore area. You thought there was a financial gain to be made. And you said, look, don't work for the man anymore. Work for yourself. And I kept saying to you, it sounds good, but it's too much work involved. I'm good where I am. what else did I say? You remember some of those answers?
No, I always look at things as you can do better on your own rather than working for somebody and paying that they're paying you a discounted rate and charging retail to whoever they are marketing up to. And I always think as an entrepreneur, as a guy that's out there doing my own thing, I always look at just the dollar side. I never look at the extra work. There's a tremendous amount of work that's involved with it. So while I would love to say, hey, I'm the guy that talked you into it, the issue is that there's so many other things that you have to do in order to make that happen, and it's just such it's a huge responsibility. I mean, I'm proud of you for taking the step, but it is you still have a tough hill that you're going to have to climb now.
Well, yeah, but it's based now on need as opposed to, it's a whole different ballgame as far as I'm concerned. Because if they would have come to me on that day and just said, hey, everything's going great. Hey, by the way, we want to bump your salary up another 5%. Then, then we wouldn't be having this conversation now. You would you would keep coming back to me and saying, hey, that was a great opportunity maybe to tell them, hey, I'm going to go out on my own and do my own thing. And, that there wasn't a need. But now I don't have a job.
Right.
And, all of a sudden I'm feeling like, where's the next paycheck going to come from? And that's when you start getting into that completely different mindset. You start thinking, what am I going to do next? Yeah. Who can I work for? First you think about, where can I get a job? Right away, where can I continue to make money? Stop the bleeding. And then a friend of mine, Chuck Whitaker, a guy who also has been doing traffic actually for longer than I am. He's been doing it for 48 years. And for the first probably 35 of those years, he did it in Baltimore. And then he moved down to Tampa, Florida, started his own traffic service, and he now does 75 stations in the Tampa, St. Petersburg area. So he has
Strick. I mean, listen to that. He's cleaning up. I mean, look at what he's doing. He's taking 75 stations. He's taking airtime from them, and which equates to advertising space. And he's going, and he probably has a sales team out there and is selling. The guy's making bank. I mean, this is exactly what I kept saying to David. This is what you need to do. This is what you need to do.
Well, and that's the great thing is that this is not a brand new business model. It's been done before. I've heard of other companies in the past. I mean, I've never looked into it deep, but I've heard of different, Metro Traffic Control, I guess it was, right? I don't know if they're still around, but they were big.
I used to work for them, yeah.
Yeah, there you go. So
Metro Traffic.
Right. So, and that's not a bad thing. I mean, that's a good thing when other people have already kind of figured out the pitfalls, then you can kind of follow in their footsteps and figure out how they're doing it and just copy the model.
So you excited about it, Dave, or is there some fear, or what do you have? What's like the feeling that's in your head right now?
No, it's definitely it's all systems go. We kind of feel like we've already started to recruit stations. We've already actually recruited a group of stations called the Maryland News Network that have 22 stations in their network, and we're going to be able to do traffic reports on all of their stations. In addition to that, we went back, as I told you, and we pitched this idea back to our 98 Rockin'. And actually, we got a really favorable response.
So what are those stations doing right now, by the way? BAL and 98 Rock, what are they doing for traffic right now?
Well, they do 24/7 traffic. So they have a guy that they employ who's been doing traffic from 5 a.m. till noon. And they've been using a traffic service for basically the rest of the portion of the afternoon rush hour all the way through to the overnight period. So they could continue to do exactly what they're doing, but the people that do the reports for them, especially the ones that are through the traffic service, I'll never disparage people, but they're not any good. Think about it this way: if you're from Baltimore and you're doing traffic in Baltimore, you grew up and you know the roads, you're going to probably have a good idea as to what you're talking about the area that you're actually broadcasting in. But how about if you're sitting in a studio in Rockville, Maryland, you're from Northern Virginia, and you've never driven on a road in Baltimore, and you're doing traffic for Baltimore stations? I mean, how do you think that's going to sound?
No, it's so true. You think about little subtleties like that, right? Like, let's say you're not really familiar with the area, and maybe you're getting your information from Maryland Traffic Control or from Google or from wherever. I mean, Dave, you know where they get all this stuff from. But and you see some accident and a backup, right? But you don't know if this is a major road, or it could be some little pissant road that nobody ever drives on. So it doesn't matter if it gets backed up because nobody gives a shit about it, right? Like when there's just a little bit of a backup on the Beltway, you know that you got to talk about that. But if there's a huge accident in like Northwest Baltimore, like in the city, who cares, right? Nobody's driving there. So you're totally right.
Well, one of the things that, also is a dead giveaway, and I'll put it back in the DC area. Would be
pronunciations, I would say.
Well, that's a good point. But how about like something like Rockville Pike, and you call it Rockville Boulevard, and it's like all of a sudden you go, oh, geez, that guy doesn't know what he's, right. And all of a sudden, all that trust factor just goes out the window.
That's it. That's it exactly. You lose all the trust.
When you're listening to radio, especially, you're imagining what the guy looks like, the girl looks like, and you're also giving them that trust. You're listening to the news, you're hearing what they say. They may have some opinion. If it's a commentary, there's a lot of trust that goes along with all of the information that you hear on the radio. And if you lose that trust just a little bit, all of a sudden it's just, you're going to probably tune into a different station.
Well, just imagine this, Strick. So as I think I said this to you as well, David, you can go in and by Detour Dave delivering the traffic service, you get a premium guy, which is a premium cost. You can have that lesser known talent that's doing it for you also at a reduced fee. Now that's not to the station, but it would be to the sponsor. If General Tire wanted to sponsor Detour Dave, it would mean a little bit more than if General Tire wanted to sponsor just a generic traffic person. Is that potentially the level of service that you might be able to offer?
Well, that's definitely part of it. But, especially with the stations, if they're looking for somebody to do a quality report because they value the traffic report, then who else are they going to use that they, who else out there can you name that's doing traffic at all? I mean, there's nobody that comes to mind.
Chili Amor.
Never heard of
traffic.
No, but she's like a specific channel, right? Isn't she like, I don't even remember which station she was at, but wasn't it one station?
I don't know. I remember Chuck Whitaker. I remember Detour Dave. And for some reason, I remember Chili Amor. Is there actually a traffic person named Chili Amor?
Yeah, but it's not a real name. But yeah, that's her stage name.
Are you sure that's not a real name?
Yeah, it's her radio name. I know exactly who you're talking about. I don't know if it's Chili Amor, something like that. But yeah, that is definitely her radio name. I just can't remember what station it's from. It was one of the top 40 stations.
Yeah, you
never heard of her.
Yeah, that was funny. You're busy working.
I don't know her. I don't know. So to answer your question, we're real excited about the opportunity to gain a little bit more financial. That's kind of cool. I haven't really had a raise and I can't even remember the last time. Matter of fact, I think I've lost money over the past 10 years.
So just to give you a little bit of the background, Dave is married. He has 2 kids. Both of the kids are a little bit older. They're in their 20s, and everybody lives at the house. So Dave's paying for everybody. So he needs all the money that he can get. Dave, you should start actually a Patreon. No, don't do that because you won't make any money on that. Patreon.com/Detour Dave.
Yeah. Does anybody contribute to that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We've got 24 contributors right now. We're actually at $147 a month. We're actually starting to pick up some pace here.
Yeah. It's
I'm sorry. I didn't realize.
The momentum is building. Hey, Dave, hold on. So it may not be a lot of money, but, it's better than zero. Okay? It's better than zero.
We appreciate all of our Funkin' fans.
No, you guys have a great following. I mean, how many downloads now are we talking about?
By the time this airs, we'll just be approaching the 800,000 download. And we will be, by November 1st, our goal is 1 million downloads. We'll be there.
90 to 95,000 a month.
Yeah. I think that's unbelievable. I mean, I remember when you guys just got started. What was it, 2.5 years ago? 3 years ago?
Yeah.
2.5 years ago, yeah.
Wow.
It's crazy.
Is there any tracking as to how quickly somebody can build to that number? I mean, are you on a track that no one else has approached that quickly?
No. Well, it's such a strange thing because, somebody, let's say a celebrity, right? If somebody who is a celebrity or has a following already for something else, if they start a podcast, obviously they got a foot ahead already, and they usually start off really well. So I don't think we are on any kind of unusual trajectory, but if you look at our curve, our download curve, it's really about persistence, because the first year was just crap.
Yeah, it really was. I was looking, Strick, it's funny, I was looking at that. There was several months where we would say on the weekends when we weren't actually producing episodes, we would have 10 or 12 downloads.
Oh my God, 10 or 12 for that each day.
Yeah, it took us months to get rid of those double-digit days. Months. I'm talking like, I think close to a year to get rid of those double-digit days.
That's crazy.
So it's been interesting, and if I do look at other people who have podcasts, and obviously we're in the podcast production podcast production business as well, the vast majority of other podcasters that are out there, not that numbers are everything, but it certainly is great when we can have a production company that can say we've done 440 episodes, we have nearly 1 million downloads. I mean, those are the kind of things that I think make it a successful podcast. Not necessarily that we have monetized it, but we've taken a slightly a different approach to having success with our podcast. But I don't think there's any golden bullet, silver bullet that says that this is the way that it has to be done. So
I agree.
I'm pretty proud of what we've been able to accomplish. It has taken us a long time to get here, but when I look at it, maybe it hasn't been so long after all.
It's all good.
I guess you probably have to love it, because if you weren't seeing the results right away, and certainly obviously not a monetary part at all, then you either have to just love what you're doing or you wouldn't have continued it.
Yeah, I agree. So you started your podcast. So Nice Guy Community, just so you're aware, Dave has a podcast also. It's called, is it On the Flip Side? Is that what it's called?
Catch You on the Flip Side.
Catch You on the Flip Side. So can you give us a little synopsis of what it's about?
Well, it's really basically, usually we'll interview a guest. The guest usually has overcome some type of an obstacle, whether they actually have an impairment or something along that line, or whatever. It could have been just something as simple as going through a difficult time in their life for whatever reason, and basically overcoming that obstacle and then talking about how going through that process made them a better person. And it's no politics. It's no news. It's just basically all feel good stuff. Just listening to some good news, and it's usually about a 45-minute podcast or so. It's hosted by myself and David Schumer, who suffered a tough brain injury when he was walking his dog. He hit his head and basically lost consciousness and had to learn how to walk and talk and broadcast all over again. I've had my health issues, as we've talked about in other podcasts, and it's just really about just overcoming those odds and getting on the good side of it. So really
Dave, when you say you've had health issues to overcome, for those of you who don't know, Dave fucking died. All right, he fucking died. So you're really kind of sugarcoating it a little bit.
Well, I just didn't know if we needed to go into that or not.
Well, here's what we can do. If you have not heard Dave's story, go back and listen to it. Can you even get episode 60? Maybe, Strick, maybe in the show notes. I think you can only go
back 100 episodes, so I don't think you can get it.
Okay, so in the show notes, we will put a link. Here, Strick, I'm going to just drop it in.
We'll put a link to that episode directly, and then you can also go and listen to Dave Sandler and Dave Schumer's podcast, which is Catch You on the Flip Side, which we'll put a link in for as well. Great production on that show. I got to tell you, it sounds so fucking good.
Gosh, I wish I knew who did it. If I could just figure out who did it.
So David's episode on the Nice Guys was episode number 60.
Right.
Episode number 60. It was on September 1st, 2015. So it has been nearly 2 years since that episode aired, but Dave goes through his entire story. Really fascinating story. He wrote a book called Taking a Detour as well. So he'll talk about the book. He'll talk about his death, not near-death experience, his death experience, and get into some of the details with me. Geez, I wonder how horrible we both sound. Well, you probably sound just as good as you always do, but I'm sure that I was fumbling through most of the things.
No, I remember you did a great job with it. And actually, I was on a phone line, not a broadcast microphone like today, so I was kind of sounding a little tinnier than usual. So, people can hear it, but I think the technology has increased on both of our sides.
But just so you have the synopsis of it, Dave was playing softball. He was rounding one of the bases, fell completely, passed out, died on the field. Cardiologist in the stands just coincidentally revived him, brought him back to life, and the process was basically quadruple bypass surgery, defibrillator. What else do you have in your body right now?
Pacemaker,
defibrillator, and
all caused by radiation because of Hodgkin's lymphoma when I was a junior at the University of Maryland.
Jesus, you've had some issues. Gosh.
Otherwise, it's been pretty healthy.
Cancer, heart, what? Anything else? Are you done?
Lungs, tons of lung trouble.
Oh gosh, yeah.
No stamina, voice cracks at times, no appetite.
He has a nice dog.
Oh, by the way,
I
forgot. I forgot to tell you.
What?
You're going to love this.
I'm ready.
This will open up the back end of our of this podcast.
Yeah.
I'm starting a appetite enhancer tonight.
Appetite enhancer.
What is an app? Does that make your appetite? Does that make your appetite Marinol? What the hell is
that?
that?
It makes you want to eat more?
It's munchies.
Wow.
What?
It makes you want the
hold on a second. Wait. Marinol. That sounds awfully close to marijuana. Hold on a second. Are you taking medicinal marijuana, David Sandler?
This is going to be my first chance tonight.
Really?
What? You're fucking kidding me.
So it's like edible.
Yeah.
So it really is like you're going to eat pot.
It's going to be it's a capsule. It's different than the chocolate bar or the cookie, but the idea is the same.
Just stop for 1 second. Strick,
I know this is a shock.
Let me explain this, Strickland.
Yeah.
I was the guy that was doing bong hits and smoking pot in college and beyond. This guy David has had maybe one alcohol beverage in his entire life, and he is about to eat pot.
Dave, you don't drink or smoke?
No.
Really?
Nope.
Interesting.
Never did.
Very interesting.
Mm-mm. But this is medicinal. You got to understand that.
Talk about fucking burying the lead, Dave. We should have let in with this.
I know. I forgot about it.
How could you forget?
But I know you were going to love it.
This is the gateway drug. This is so what is this? What is it actually called again?
It's called Marinol, and I think it's MARNOL. No, MARINOL.
Okay, all right.
And it's a 2.5 milligram capsule.
Uh-huh.
And the side effect from taking this is increasing your appetite, which on my end is bad.
What is the main thing it's supposed to do? You said that's a side effect. You said what is it? What are you taking it for?
Well, that's real. I mean, I'm taking it for that benefit. The other benefits probably would be that you get a little bit high, maybe from it.
Okay. So it makes you loose. So it makes you more comfortable. And to know David is to know that he's already the loosest guy that you possibly ever want to see.
I'm like Mr. Loose.
Right.
Like I'm unhinged all the time.
Strick, have you ever heard of this Marinol?
I've never heard of it. No, and I couldn't imagine something that would make me want to eat more because I fucking love to eat so much already. It's a struggle for me to stay as thin as I am, and I could definitely stand to lose a little bit of weight, but my God, I would never want to try something that would make me want to eat more.
I would love it being a tall drink of water. What is the active ingredient in Marinol?
I'm looking through the right now.
Does it say? Strick, can you look this up?
Is it like THC? Is it basically
that's what
marijuana?
I'm asking. Yeah.
Yeah, let's see.
Where did you get it?
Well, here it is. It's used to treat nausea and vomiting. So it's for people that have cancer. A lot of the people that are taking chemotherapy, because they can't feel like they're not hungry.
Right.
It's also used in the treatment for loss of appetite and weight loss in patients which would have HIV. So that's another tough one. It's also called THC.
Yeah, there you go. You go. So it is.
It's also called
THC. It's
a
medical
man-made
marijuana,
form of active natural substance in marijuana.
Interesting.
MARINOL.
Yeah.
There you go.
NOL. Okay, I'm gonna just look it up. Let's see what
Marinol. Yeah, so it's
Marinol versus marijuana. What's the difference?
Exactly.
So it's very, very interesting, Dave. This is a crazy. I had no idea.
Well, I didn't have a good appetite.
No, I knew you didn't have a good appetite, but I figured that was, that I didn't realize that there was actually a way around that. I thought that interesting. It's the alternative to natural cannabis. Marinol is manufactured as gelatin capsule containing synthetic delta-9 tetrahydrocannabinol. It is the THC. It's synthetic THC. It's exactly what it is.
Yeah,
way to go, Dave.
Well, it was prescribed by a doctor.
I love this.
I'm under doctor's supervision.
Yeah, of course. Are you allowed to operate heavy machinery while you have it?
No.
Okay. All right.
Barely able to do a podcast.
Oh, when you haven't taken it yet?
No,
have you?
I was thinking about it, and I said, you know what? It probably would be fun, but maybe not a good idea. I don't know. Maybe next time.
Who's around? Anybody around?
I'm afraid to look.
You need me to send a hooker over the house or anything like that?
I'm already loose. I just got to drop my drawers.
Oh, man, we buried the lead here. This should have been the lead in. Screw the job. I wanted to hear more about the medical marijuana that you're taking.
All you need to do is edit this. And just
right, no, because, we do our little front end thing. I'm going to tease with this, and then people have to listen 35 minutes in to figure out what we're talking about.
Very true. See, that's why Strickland is getting the big bucks.
Exactly.
That's exactly right. Oh, jeez. All right. Well, we covered absolutely everything on this episode. We never spun the wheel. So, was this Tuesday's episode we just blew through?
Yeah, it is.
All right. Way to go. We got 1 down, 5 more episodes to record.
Glad I could help, guys. So happy to help.
So that's why you brought your brother on, because you were worried about having 4 episodes full of content.
I was thinking, and tomorrow, later on when we record our next episode, we're going to have Sean Carpenter, Anna Nygren, and Lou Diamond are coming on the show.
So you're totally nervous that we're going to have nothing to talk about, which, by the way, is ridiculous, because we've never, ever had an episode where we ran out of shit to talk about.
I got a little nervous. Strick, I'm preparing for vacation. I haven't had a lot of prep time for this. I really have spent, you see, I'm knocking them dead with Turnkey Podcast this week, so I really didn't do a lot of preparation for this week's recording, so I felt I really needed to brace for impact.
You did less prep work than you usually do? How much do you usually do?
Well, at least the 5 minutes before the show, I'm sending you the topics. Did I send you the topics this week?
So you did 5 minutes less. Yes, actually, you updated the topic list on OneNote. So you did.
Yeah, it's true. I did. I really
did.
I get nervous.
I'm working on spinners for us, too.
I saw
Fidget
that.
spinners.
I'm excited about it. All right, let's get out of this episode. Let's let David go back to eating his marijuana.
Let's can we upsell the traffic reports?
Of course.
We need sponsorship.
So how do we get it? So say it. Tell what do you say what you need? What do you need?
So basically, we are going to be doing traffic all over the state at various radio stations. We're looking for folks that want to sponsor the reports, their business. Whether it be a statewide business or a national business, we are going to be exposed to basically millions of listeners throughout the Baltimore metro Maryland area every day. So
what we say is if you have sponsorship dollars to spend, first place you go is the Nice Guys on Business podcast. But after that, if you have anything left over,
anything left in your advertising budget,
Strick, we should look. Actually, we have a lot of our listeners are actually in Maryland and DC, aren't they?
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah, so if you are a business owner in the Maryland or DC area and you want to sponsor Detour Dave and his traffic service, just get in touch with the Nice Guys. He'll pay a healthy commission, in order to get the advertising dollars to come to flow in his direction. How much?
20%.
Strick, did you hear it? Did we get that recorded?
I heard 20% commission. Yeah. It's good.
Yeah, but we have to. He's going to give us 20% of time, so all we have to do then is turn around and sell the time. That's fucking not worth anything to us.
You're going to get cash.
Just get David. Just call him directly. We don't want any money.
Detour Dave, the traffic slave. That is the man, the myth, the legend. How can they get in touch with you, Dave?
They can reach me at detourdave@comcast.net, which is my email address. Detourdave.com is the website. At Detour WBAL, which is still the Twitter handle. Haven't changed that one yet.
Got to change that shit.
Yeah, get rid of that one, Dave.
And we looked it up. I think what's available, Doug, is at Detour Dave Sandler. Remember?
There you go.
So, that's cool.
That works.
Okay.
So we may have to do that. Otherwise, on Facebook, they can get me at Detour Dave Sandler.
All right, that's cool. Well, nice guy community, never underestimate the power of nice. Special thanks to Dave for being a part of the show. He's died. He's come back. He's now on marijuana. This is good. His appetite is healthy, and he's looking for sponsorship. A whole bunch of fucked up things going on in his life, but we love him just the same. Dave, good talking to you.
Great to hear you guys again. Thanks. Steve
O'Brien, take us out of here.
For the Nice Guys on Business, I'm Steve O'Brien. You know, I've done opens and closes for these bozos for 400 plus episodes. I've moved, I've had plastic surgery, I keep renewing the restraining order, but nothing has worked. They keep on finding me.